Good. Okay. They're messing with me in the back room there. Turn my light on and off. All right, let's call to order the Sparks City Council meeting for Monday, February 13th with a roll call.
Mayor Lawson.
Here.
Council members Abbott.
Here.
Vanderwell.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Bybee.
Here.
Dare.
Here.
City Attorney Duncan.
Here.
City Manager Cruz.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, it's, our invocations be done by our city attorney, Wes Duncan.
Dear Lord God, we just thank you for the opportunity to meet here as a city council today. God, I pray that you would just guide and give wisdom to our city council and to our city as we make decisions that impact the lives of others. We pray for Councilman Christopher Dare as he continues to recover, God, and we're just thankful that, God, his prognosis is good and he will be with us soon. May we have a great rest of the day and a great meeting together. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Ms. Vanderbilt, will you lead us in the pledge?
Please join me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's see if I can do this without whacking my knee. All right, so we're moving on to public comment. And I'm gonna butcher your name, so please bear with me. John, EMG. Thank you. There's a lot of vowels in there. Come on down to the mic. This one here on this left side, you can have a seat right there. And
Okay, here?
yes, sir.
I appreciate you guys hearing me.
Thank you.
Means a lot to me. Thank you very much. A little bit about myself first. I'm a businessman in the Washoe County area for over 30 years. I'm only telling you about myself because I don't want my words to lay lightly on you. I own a home in Sparks where I was raised. I also own a home in Reno. I'm speaking on behalf of Mark Lawson, not because he's a buddy and I need to come talk about my friend, but he's been an acquaintance for years, and all of my dealings with Mr. Lawson have been impeccable. The man, in my opinion, has been upstanding, and he's been involved in a lot of our charitable contributions, not by provocation. He just donates his time or his resources, which has been great. And seeing what's happened to him, the media did him a giant disservice with their gigantic headlines that, you know, they were untrue, and when they tried to retract that, they put it in a little blurb in the corner, knowing that the public only reads, they're into memes and they're into headlines. They don't read the whole story. So public opinion is swayed in a negative way for Mr. Lawson, and I think that was unfair. And I felt myself personally, I had the time to come talk, so I figured I would put my opinion out there from my times that I've dealt with him. He's a very good man, upstanding, and very helpful. I've seen him give himself where he didn't have to people that didn't matter, to me at least. I mean, he just has been a very good guy. And if it came down to it for whether or not he was going to oversee the protection of my family or my homes, I don't care which home it is, Reno or Sparks, I would be proud to have him represent the fire department or the city in any way possible. I know you guys have a lot to weigh, and there's a lot of things that are involved that probably I don't know everything about, but I know somewhat about the situation, and I know that the things that he's done far outweigh any small act of kindness to the wrong person that might have put him in jeopardy. His decisions are his own. He made a mistake. I get that. I don't think there's any of us in this room, any of us that have not made a mistake. But I believe his weight is far better to the goodness than it is at all to anything negative that he's ever put out in this community. Like I said, I've known him for probably 10 years now, but my work doesn't allow me to go out and hang out with friends and do things. I take care of elderly parents, and I work 12 hours a day. So as far as, you know, relationships, they're far and few, unfortunately. I've got friends, but I never have time to spend time with them. So my coming down here was just basically because of seeing him and seeing what's happening, and I think that somebody needs to speak up for him or anyone else that gets put in a situation like this. So I appreciate your time. And if there's any way you guys can consider Mark to be, the Mark that most of us that have dealt with him know, that would be great. I know most of you don't know him. You're just going off of what you read or what you've seen. So
Thank you, sir.
thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate your time.
Can we get a microphone up for Mr. Mark Markell? And you'll be followed by Charles Elliott. Mark comes to us every quarter or so to remind us about the consequences of drinking and driving.
Go to read. A Yucaipa man was in critical condition Friday at Loma Linda University Medical Center when he was taken for treatment of head injuries after a car crash Thursday, authorities said. Mark Markell, 24, was thrown from a 1977 Datsun as it overturned on Live Oak Canyon Road at the eastbound Interstate 10 off-ramp at 4:30 p.m., said California Highway Patrol Officer Amber Drysdale. The driver was driving south on Live Oak Canyon Road when he lost control of the car, struck a curb, and skidded into the off-ramp. The vehicle rolled over several times and landed on top of Mark Markell, Drysdale said. The cause of the accident is being investigated.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and City Manager and City Attorney. I'm a concerned Nevada resident. My name is Mark Markell. And I don't talk very well, that's why I have her read that thing for me. But I just want to be an example of what can happen when you get in the car with a drunk driver and warn people of drinking, driving, getting in the car with a drunk driver. And I just want people not to do such, get in the car with a drunk driver. It's dangerous, and drinking, driving, you can hurt somebody else, kill somebody else. It's just no good. That's all I have to say. I don't talk very well. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right. Charles Elliott, followed by Darren Jackson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council, City Attorney, and City Lawyer. I appreciate, first of all, just like the folks before me, you allowing me to come down here. I'm right now representing a very good friend of mine I've known since he was 6 years old. We both are lifelong residents of Sparks. I happen to be a Vietnam vet, Purple Heart recipient. I've had several businesses in this area. And my friend called me, and I was quite alarmed. I have heard this story about Mr. Mark Lawson, and like most folks, just kind of, I don't watch a lot of the news because I don't trust it, but all of a sudden I'm going, how in the heck did that happen? But yet, just because I'm busy and I have other things going, I thought, well, man, that's a bummer. Why? What happened? Come to find out, my real good friend, Mark, said, Wes, could you please go down and read into the record a letter to the city council? He tried to Zoom it, he tried to email it, but it won't go on the record unless I am to read it to you. It says, to Ed Lawson and all Sparks City Council members, I am writing to you in support of my friend who I have literally known since he was born. His father and mother have been our close friends for over 60 years and very close friends of mine. Some of you on the council are well aware of my 50 years in business in the Reno Sparks community. My wife, Beth, and I have been married for over 56 years. And her grandfather, Joseph Jackson, was mayor of Sparks. I proudly tell everyone that our grandchildren are sixth-generation Sparksites. I can assume Mark was hired by the city of Sparks, not only because of his exemplary 32 years of service to CAL FIRE, but also based upon his leadership, qualifications, character, and reputation. Fire department employees were excited with Mark being chosen as fire chief, as was city manager Neil Kreutz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. In my opinion, it was unfair for him to be terminated without conviction, when at most he should have been placed on administrative leave pending outcome of the charges. You can only imagine the humiliation caused by Mr. Neil Kreutz's announcement, which was immediately shared with shared to YouTube, triggering headline news around the country and the world. Mark is rightfully proud of his legacy, and it is my fervent hope that his good name will be cleared, resulting in Mark's reinstatement as fire chief. You are welcome to contact me, Mark Ewell, with any comments or concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Your
Thank you.
time's up. Thank you. Darren Jackson, followed by Jared Stewart.
For the record, Darren Jackson, Vice President, Sparks Firefighters Local 731. I want to start by saying thanks to you guys, all the council members that supported Mike Foster's fundraiser. That was a big deal. It was a huge help to him and his family, and it was good to see some council members there. So I want to start with that. I have a prepared statement here I'm just going to read. And this is in regard to Mark Lawson. City manager failed to follow due process in removing Mark Lawson as fire chief. Social media is not an appropriate tool to fire a department head. The YouTube video was unprofessional and in bad taste. It publicly ruined a man's reputation without due process, as he is owed, and will be almost impossible to repair. Aren't we all innocent until proven guilty? I'm not sure, but I read that somewhere. City has a policy about social media. Is it okay to talk about sensitive internal HR matters in public? Do we fire department heads via social media now? If no action is taken to correct this, no one will ever want to be another department head, with the risk of public shaming and firing hanging over them. I do have a question. How did the city manager even know about the charges that were not filed yet? The city manager failed to involve HR or the city attorney in his decision to fire the former chief. His poor judgment has jeopardized the city by being liable for damages in addition to what is owed under his contract. Today's vote is just the beginning of the city's liability exposure. We cannot stand more self-inflicted wounds. We need a city manager who can lead from the front and inspire everyone to bring Sparks into this century. We need to focus on the core responsibilities of the city and bring us up to national standards. The citizens deserve and expect that, as do the city employees. We expect excellence in ourselves and our leadership. Bad leadership leads to uninspired and unmotivated employees. This leads to poor services rendered to the citizens and taxpayers. The city manager leads through fear and intimidation. Employees live in fear of retaliation for perceived slights. No chief or department head can be successful while he remains city manager. Everyone knows the story of the emperor with no clothes. I'm standing up without fear, publicly saying that the emperor is not wearing any clothes. We have no confidence in the city manager to be able to run the city and keep the public trust effectively. Thank you.
Thank you. Jared Stewart, followed by Mike Hackler.
Good afternoon, council. I'd also like to thank everybody who showed up and supported Mike Foster's charity event. Cancer is a huge problem for our members, as it is for all firefighters, and we appreciate your support. First, I'd like to say that due to the failures of employee leadership within the city, we have serious safety issues at Sparks Fire. Never in 16 years since I've been employed here have we added daily staff, added a unit, or moved a unit to attend to an increase in call volume from 7,500 calls a year to over 15,600 calls a year. We've had to reduce service to the citizens because of this, and no one is saying anything about this reduction. We have high response times, which city leadership has covered up, utilizing falsified maps. We have an acting fire chief who refuses to call his neighbors for help at fires to meet industry safety standards, even though one major fire in Sparks often leaves the city with no fire or EMS response and prolonged EMS response from REMSA. The city manager has said he doesn't need an industry standard to operate this department. Because of the city manager's lack of regard to due process, all employees in Sparks are fearful of retaliation, intimidation, and abuse. I myself had a police investigation started against me in a way that meets no city policies while I was being interviewed by OSHA personnel at headquarters. Who would ever want to speak up about safety after that? This is the true intent of the leadership of the employees in Sparks from the top down. Having a dictator rule over employees through fear, intimidation, retaliation, and abuse is no way to operate a municipality. We think it's time for some change in Sparks. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mike Cackler, followed by Tom Dunn.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Kreutz. My name is Mike Hackler from Sparks Fire. I was up here about a year ago with lack of confidence in our current fire chief at the time. I'd like to continue that lack of confidence in our city manager. We have been essentially on a plane into the ground for the last year. We have no leadership. We have nobody in charge of the fire department. Whose job is it to hire them? Like, why hasn't that happened yet? Why don't we have a fire chief? I mean, it's not my job to hire him, right? I'm just a fireman, but it's his job to find a replacement. I don't understand why that type of incompetence is allowed still. I feel like he is wasting the taxpayers' money and not putting their safety paramount to where it should be. I plead with you guys as city council and as the mayor to rectify this problem. He is an employee just as I am. I do my job to the best of my ability every day. I would expect him to do the same thing. I'm Mike Hackler, and I still have zero confidence in our city manager, or I guess we don't even have a fire chief anymore, so the fire chief admin. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Dunn, followed by Mike Wilcher.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. For the record, my name is Tom Dunn. I'm the vice president of the Reno Firefighters Association. Today, I'm representing the men and women of the Reno Airport, and Sparks firefighters. Today, the Sparks Fire Department is still without a permanent chief, and the same problems that existed 12 months ago are still present today and have not improved. You have fewer staff than what you had over a decade ago, and yet the call volume continues to increase and the city population has grown considerably. There is a continuing morale problem due to forced hire overtime, which is affecting your firefighters and their families. Fear and intimidation are not leadership techniques that are successfully used to run any organization, much less a city. If these problems are happening at the fire department, it makes me question which other departments this behavior is happening in as well. Using a social media platform to communicate a major impact on the fire department and this community that was available to the public simultaneously shows a total lack of respect for the men and women of the Sparks Fire Department. Today, you are forced with a difficult decision, using taxpayer dollars and resources to correct a series of bad decisions that have been made due to a lack of transparency and due process. These symptoms will continue to occur until you address or change the behavior of the person that is creating this problem. The men and women of the Sparks Fire Department and all city employees for that matter, deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, and look forward to working with you as policymakers to move this city forward. It is time to provide the management and leadership this community expects and deserves. Accountability is a two-way street. It is time to break the roadblock and fix the glitch. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Mike Pilcher, followed by Darren Poole.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the council and city staff. For the record, Mike Pilcher, the past president of the Northern Nevada Central Labor Council and past vice president of the Nevada State AFL-CIO. I'm not here to represent any specific affiliate today. I'm here to inform you that you have an internal problem that is compromising, very likely compromising workforce development. There's hardly an issue, or I should say most workplace issues, especially it seems in the public sector, find their way to my desk, representing 40 affiliates, 10,000 members, and 10 counties in Nevada. And I'm not talking just about the classified employees which we represent. I'm talking about non-classified employees as well. That comes across my desk. And simply put, workers talk. They talk on the job, they talk off the job, they talk across crafts, they talk across agencies, across counties, and across states. They communicate now more than ever. And what they are saying is they don't want to work for you. At least not the educated and informed and experienced worker, which presumably I suspect you are competing for to recruit and to retain. So I respectfully suggest you take a hard, long, and honest look internally and make changes. Changes for a better Sparks, a brighter tomorrow, and foster a culture, a workplace environment that encourages, empowers, appreciates, and has a long-term element of successorship to it. So, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, city staff, thank you for your time. Have a splendid day.
Thank you. Darren Poole, followed by Rob Cole. Darren?
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you over the applause. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, council. My name is Darren Prue, spelled with an L and an X. It's easy if you don't look at it.
I've been practicing it all day.
Very good, thank you, I appreciate you, sir. Raised my 6 children here in Sparks. I wasn't born in Sparks, but put all my children through high school here, and if fingers crossed, my daughter will be moving back shortly with my 4 grandchildren. I'm a business owner, and I was cited for a code violation recently. I asked to go before a hearing, and at the hearing, I believe the hearing officer made an error. I would like to appeal. I was told that I could only appeal through municipal court. I sent you a video over the weekend, a video email. You may or may not have had a chance to view it. I'm asking, and I don't know that it's a council decision. It may be a city manager or the city attorney decision, but I would like the opportunity to appeal to the city council as NRS requires, as the zoning code requires, and as the health and safety requires. All of those are on the email that I sent over the weekend. I feel it's the appropriate venue. If there is I believe the zoning code is being misapplied. The council voted to ratify that code. If there's going to be a question as to whether or not it was what you had intended, it should be made by the city council and not by a municipal court judge. When I was told I would need to appeal to a municipal court judge, I said, send me the policy. And the answer I received was, sorry, we can't do that. So how can there be an appeal policy if I'm not told how to process an appeal? Later, after a number of requests, I did receive a form on how to appeal. It's a little bit like, if you don't like our decision, so sue us. That's what it feels like. I don't think that's appropriate. I think I should have the opportunity to appeal to the city council, and that's the appropriate venue. I hope to see you again in another meeting shortly where I discuss the issue. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Rock Cole, followed by Teresa Coley. Did I say that correct? Okoli is correct? You'll be up next.
That's okay. I'm gonna pause this real quick. And then let's put that on there and then I'll switch it over when you're done with the video.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hi there.
How are you, Rock?
I'm good, thanks. My name is Rock Cole. I'm here to speak about the Five Ridges project, mainly the massive slopes above my house that are being built and only hydro seeded. As you watch this video, this is the hillside above my house, and I want you to pay attention to the clarity of the water. Although the video's poor, you basically, it's crystal clear. It's like you could drink it. I'll show a close-up here in a minute. You saw the silt fence, but look at that water. It's like you could drink it.
Clear.
Once you build these massive slopes over 6 acres worth above my house, do you think the water's gonna look like that? I don't think so. You guys listen to staff, to your engineers, to the applicant's engineer, and to the hydrologist. And they all get unlimited time to sell you this project and tell you how great it's gonna be and that this dumb guy at the bottom of the hill is not gonna get damaged. Well, I've been in the business for 40 years and I've lived here for 27, and I guarantee you I'm gonna get damaged. I have a picture right here of, this is a silt fence above my house, the same one you just saw in that video. And it only has like 20 to 30 feet of disturbance above it. Look at the little bit of water that's coming through there. That's muddy water. Muddy water carries silt and sediment load transport down on a lower parcel is against Nevada state law, and it is illegal, and I will fight it. Can you imagine when 425 feet of slope comes racing down to that silt fence? It's gonna blow it out, and it's gonna ruin my yard. Muddy water carries mud. At that point, I have no choice but to sue, I guess. That's all I can do. And everybody will be named, but who's gonna be held ultimately responsible? I've been told that you guys and everybody else are gonna be insulated. This great little thing you guys have. So then it's gonna be the homeowners and or the builder, Lennar, Toll Brothers, whoever buys into this project. What happens if it happens before these guys even own a home? Then it goes to Lennar and I don't know who. And then does Lennar have to disclose that there's a lawsuit pending against the very homes that your citizens are gonna buy? Is that fair to your citizens? I don't think it is. I think when a judge and a jury looks at that video and the one I showed you last week or the last meeting, and then I stand in the exact same spot and show them a video of muddy water, much worse than the muddy water I just showed you, because that is only coming down about 30 feet and going through the silt fence. When 425 feet drain down to this, it's gonna be unbelievable. And I guarantee you, a judge or a jury will rule in my favor. And then it's gonna be a disaster to fix. You'll have to go through common ground to fix it. Thank you for your
Rob.
time.
Yes, appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Teresa Okoli?
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and council members. I'm here today as a nursing student doing BSM program, other communities health services. So one of our assignments is to attend the council meeting and show our concern about the health around the environment. So honestly, I must thank the city of Sparks, like in the time of cleanliness, this is so wonderful. So I come from New Jersey. I know how that place look like, but here is kind of very good in terms of cleanliness. But my observation here is I noticed that quite a lot of people are into smoking. So, and if nothing done, like advertisement of showing like a billboard about the dangerous in smoking, maybe in the future time, many people will be into respiratory problem. So another observation I have is, I noticed that the streets are not cleared after snow, like Boise Street or Pasco's Place. The other day, I nearly hit a woman, because of the slippery of the snow on the road. I don't know if something can be done, like clearing the street after the snowing. It also helps to avoid some unwilling accidents. Thank you for your audience.
Thank you. Okay, that was my last comment card. Does anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? I do. Need you to fill out a card after you're done, please. After, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Give us your name for the record, please.
Well, my name is Jim Mitze, last name spelled M-U-E-T-Z-E, and I am a resident of Sparks. I live in Wingfield Springs. Excuse me. And regarding our fire services, I was one time the president of the HOA out there in Wingfield. I saw what was scheduled to be built. Those houses have been built. We haven't had the same services built. That's fraud. Whether it was through the HOA or when I bought a home. I must remind you that we are required by law as residents to do certain things. Whether I want to paint my home has to be approved. As a business owner, for a number of years, I involved HR in every situation I had. I don't know this fire chief, I just know he got shafted. You don't treat people that way. You don't manage that way. You're not honorable when you do that. I pay taxes. I desire services. I've seen people in my neighborhood pass away, elderly people, because services couldn't get there fast enough. I performed CPR on a lady for 2 hours before the fire department arrived. Our fire department, which is right by Home Run, is 5 minutes away from her house, but they were on other calls. That's not right, folks. I respect each and every one of you. You have to respect us because you work for us. You have to do that. If not, find something else to do. I taught kids at Excel Christian School for 13 years, K through 12. Our government is to be respected, but government has to respect us. We don't serve you, you serve us. I ask you to remember that when tax time comes around and you've given this man his due of $400,000 plus, are you paying the bill or the taxpayers paying the bill? Are we losing out on another entity that we're not gonna get? Are you losing out on another resident who loves to call Sparks home and passes away because you don't have the courage to hire the right people? And when you find the right people, you don't give them due process. I love our Constitution. We're innocent until proven guilty. That did not happen. That's dishonorable. You should serve with honor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Please fill out a card for me before you leave, sir. Thank you. Scott Fullerman or Fullerman? Fullerton, I'm sorry. I didn't see the T.
Pen was having a little tough time getting the ink out of it, so.
No worries.
Mayor and City Council, I appreciate you let me come down here at the last minute. My name is Scott Fullerton. I am the district representative for the Operating Engineers Local 3 here in Northern Nevada. And we represent a large group, if not the largest group of employees here at the city of Sparks. And I'm not here to point fingers or do anything. What I am here to do is point out that we're here to observe, we're here to watch. In representing that large group of people, we do so with a contract. And one of the biggest items in that contract is just cause. Just cause is established through the policies and procedures and the job descriptions through the city of Sparks for these employees. If that policy is not implemented unilaterally or shows disparate treatment, it's one of the best arguments we have sometimes when we come up in a case or an issue. I don't like taking things. I like the fact that we are able to resolve a lot of items at a lower level, and I think that's true relationships. But the other part of that is if we cannot implement these policies and procedures, and let me back up, with the job descriptions, the higher up you go, the more impetus on that job description is to follow these policies and procedures. As was stated, there were multiple facets here that were violated as far as city policy goes. And I can guarantee you that if one of my individuals that I represent was charged with a similar deal and it goes unnoticed here, I expect it to go unnoticed at my level. That's only fair. There shouldn't be a different set of standards from the lowest person to the highest person. It should be unilateral. And I just want to point out that we are here to watch this and make sure that policies and procedures are adhered to for the sake of the people that I represent, because when it comes down to it, that is my duty. With that, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? Seeing, I'll bring it back. Mr. Wagner? You want to speak? Well, Tom, we'll bring you the mic. I don't want you to fall down, please. This floor is pretty tilted, so tough to walk on.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm telling you, I can't believe what I've been listening to. This fireman and whatever.
I need you to address the council, Mr. Wagner.
Yes, I am
Thank you.
addressing the council. I can't believe it. And I'm listening to people who think you guys aren't doing any job. And the businessman over there, Neil, done a great job. He'll always do a good job. And I cannot understand why you want to let what I call a part-time fireman get a job here. He didn't tell you the truth. He didn't tell you what you wanted to know about his drug sales or whatever he was doing. It's wrong. And I personally believe the fire people you have now are good men, and they deserve to be firemen. And I've never known I've never known a business who have thrown away their employees, have thrown out a president of a company. I've never heard of that before. It's happened here. And it shouldn't have happened. Anyway, that's what I've got to say to you folks. And I want you to all know that you're doing a great job. It's a difficult job. And this is the difficult part right now. And I wish you all a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. I need to have you fill out a card for me too also. Thank you. Okay, anybody else in the public wishing to speak at this time? All right, I'm going to bring it back to the dais. Move on with the approval of the agenda. Mr. Anderson.
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Mr. Abbott.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Mr. Dare?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Motion carries unanimously. Approval of the minutes, looking for a motion. Mr. Anderson? Nope, wait a minute. They haven't caught up with me yet. Ms. Bybee.
I move to approve the minutes of the Sparks City Council meeting for January 23rd, 2023, and the special Sparks City Council meeting for January 27th, 2023.
Ms. Vanderwell.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Mr. Dare?
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. They're voting for you electronically, Chris, so when you speak, that's when the vote is cast.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now on to one of my favorite people, the Governor President. Mr. Sandoval has a presentation for us from the University of Nevada, Reno. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, city staff. For the record, Brian Sandoval, President of the University of Nevada, Reno. With me is Michael Flores, who is our Vice President of Community and Government Relations for the university. I want to thank you for the opportunity to present today with regard to an update on...
Can I interrupt you? I believe this is the very first time in my 12 years that we've seen the president of a university in chambers. So first off, I want to say thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I think, you know, Mr. Mayor, I consider myself a son of Sparks, having grown up here. And so it is a privilege and honor to be with you today, and it's a privilege and honor to have time. I know you have a very aggressive agenda, so I will move through this quickly and then happy to respond to any questions. You'll see that the title for this presentation is Wolfpack Rising, and I truly believe that we are a university that is rising, and it is a destination university. I know there are several alums in the audience, and I know one of the esteemed members of the City Council is also an alumni of the university. So next slide, if you would. So in terms of national recognition for the university, we are a Carnegie R1 high research university. We are one of the top 110 research universities in the country. We're also a Carnegie rated community engaged university, which means our students, faculty, staff are engaged in the community, and that's something I am most proud of. If you walk on the campus today, you'll see banners that say the Wolfpack Way. And for me, that means that again, our students, faculty, staff, and alums are engaged in the community, taking care of one another and doing the best they can. The other thing that I want to make you aware of is that we are a 0.1% away from becoming a Hispanic serving institution, which means 24.9% of our enrollment on campus is Latinx origin, and that's an accomplishment that we're looking forward to in the next, happening in the very, very near future. Next slide. Please, fall enrollment, and actually I can give you more updated figures with regard to spring enrollment. So with regard to spring enrollment, we have a little over 20,000 students that are enrolled at the university. It is basically flat. We were, obviously a lot of students were affected by the pandemic, and we are coming back strong. In fact, we have approximately 800 more acceptances at this point of the year for the fall term for the university. So we're expecting an even better fall than we have spring. But in terms of the fall enrollment, 72% of our students are from Nevada, which is fabulous, all over the state of Nevada. 49% of them identify as students of color, and 44% of the total enrollment identify as students of color. So we're very pleased with regard to the amount of diversity that we have on our campus. Next slide, you'll see a lot of new faces up there on the screen. So I'm going to run through them very quickly, but we have a new dean of our College of Engineering, Dean Eric Jones. We have a new dean of the medical school, Paul Hauptmann. We have a new dean of the graduate school, Dr. Marcus Kemmelmeyer. We have a new athletic director, Stephanie Remp. We have a new position that we've created because, again, being an original land-grant university, I think it's very important that we have a strong relationship with our indigenous communities throughout the state of Nevada. So we've recently appointed Daphne M. Hooper as the Director of Indigenous Relations, and formerly the City Manager of City of Fernley, which is a sister community of yours and ours. The new Chair of the Faculty Senate, Dr. Eric Marchand, Our interim dean for the School of Nursing, Dr. Cameron Duncan. Interim dean for the College of Liberal Arts, Dr. Cassie Isabelli. Interim dean for the College of Science, Dr. Catherine McCall. Our newest member of our leadership team, and I don't believe his photo is up there, but his gentleman's name is, there he is, Dr. Sashi Pillay, who's our vice president for information technology. He comes to us from Washington State University, but what I like to say is he's literally a rocket scientist because he came from NASA before that. So we're really pleased to have someone of his caliber on our campus. And finally, our interim dean of the School of Social Work, Dr. Lillian Wachinski. So these are all great leaders who bring new ideas to the university. Next slide. Our legislative session, as I know you are all aware, we are in the midst of a new legislative session. I want to publicly thank Governor Lombardo for being so supportive of higher education. He has restored the budget cuts, at least proposed in his governor's recommended budget, proposed to restore the budget cuts. One of the many things that we'll be able to do with those restorations is to restore 42 faculty positions on our campus that we have had to keep open, and I'm sure you can appreciate with the budget challenge that everyone has had. There's also funding in the budget for increased graduate medical education, which means more residencies for medical students. Medical students who are doing their residencies are 70% more likely to stay in the communities where they do those residency. There are cost of living adjustments for all faculty and staff, which is going to be very helpful with our retention. The governor, I believe, also had $65 million in the budget for the Gwynn Millennium Scholarship, which many students have benefited from, and we probably have sons and daughters who have been the beneficiaries of that as well. We are also going to be seeking planning and design money for, and you'll see the picture up there, for a new life sciences building. Our current building, the Fleshman Ag building, as I said, has been fully amortized. We've gotten the full use out of that building, but in order to maintain our Carnegie R1 high research status, we need the modern facilities to match. So that life sciences building is something that we'll be seeking for support of in the legislature. We'll move to the next slide. You'll probably have seen a lot of activity on the south end of our campus, and just to orient people, there's a Jimmy John's that is there, a small building. It was something else when I was college there, but I won't mention what it was. I might have visited there a few times, but in any event, on that south end of campus, first you'll see the completed construction of a parking complex, and I want to thank Councilwoman Bybee for being in attendance there. But it is something that we've needed on the south end of our campus, and it's very important with regard to the future plans on our campus. If you'll move to the next slide, which is the construction of a new business building. The prior business building that we have is approximately 40,000 square feet. It was completed in 1982, and our College of Business, which is the fastest growing college on campus, has outgrown that building, and we need a new modern building. And just to orient everybody, that would be on the corner of 8th Street, which is the exit off of Interstate 80 West, and to the right, which was once Center Street, now called University Way. And my thanks to the city of Reno for agreeing to name that. But it will be right on that corner. As you can see, it'll be an iconic building on the bottom there. There will be approximately a 200 to 300 seat auditorium. Above that, a cafe. There'll be modern classrooms. Next to it, which you will not, I don't think you'll see. Oh, if you go to the next slide, Michael. That'll be, that's the other side of that business building, but there'll also be a hotel conference center within that, so that it'll be a nice amenity for the people on our campus. But it will be first class. It will be something that this community will be proud of, and it will be as good or better than anything you'll see, not only in the state of Nevada, but across the country. Next slide. Nevada State Health Laboratory, which is a building that we're very thankful for, where likely most, if not all, the COVID testing occurred at that facility, and their ability to turn things around. And in fact, they were able to detect some of the findings with regard to COVID in that very building. That building was completed in 1970s, and I think they want their building back. But in all seriousness, they did some very great work in that building, but it was time that it was updated. So I want to publicly thank former Governor Sisolak, as well as the Nevada legislature, for an appropriation of $75 million to build a new state health lab on the campus of the University of Nevada that'll be immediately adjacent to this building, and that construction should start this year. And again, that will be a facility that will be the envy, I believe, of any other state, and it will serve all of the citizens of the state of Nevada. Also, it may beg the question, what are you going to do with the old building? There was also an additional $3 million appropriation from the legislature and former Governor Sisolak to rehabilitate that building, and that building will soon be used by the School of Public Health. And so the School of Public Health has been searching for a home, but we will have a really nice campus up there with, or neighborhood within campus of a new nursing building, School of Public Health, and the medical school all together, again, which will be something that I think will make the citizens of this community as well as the state very proud. Next slide. You will see one of the most beautiful academic libraries in the country, but that is up in Incline Village. That is formerly Sierra Nevada University. You may or may not know that the Sierra Nevada University Board of Trustees gifted that entire campus to the University of Nevada, Reno. That is now the University of Nevada, Reno at Lake Tahoe as of July 1, 2022. One of our first obligations with regard to that campus is there were approximately 200 students up there that we needed to what's called do a teach out to ensure that they graduated in their degree area. But starting this fall, as those students matriculate out, we are going to have, everyone's heard of study abroad, well, we're going to have a study semester at Tahoe, which will provide an experience for students unlike any other in higher education. It'll be interdisciplinary. The tuition, a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be a lot more tuition. It'll be the exact same as somebody would pay to attend campus in Reno, but these will be themed, experiential, transformative, immersive semester at the lake. We're also going to have a lot of sponsored programs up there. One of my dreams is, you've heard of the Aspen Institute. We will have the Tahoe Institute, where we'll bring speakers from all over the country and all over the world. In addition, we'll be doing, we will be doing research up there with regard to Lake Tahoe, land, sea, or land, water, and air that is going to make a massive difference in the quality of life for people in this state and around the country. So we hope to host a meeting of local government officials. I've always said if anything that has Lake Tahoe in the sentence, usually the answer is yes. So we'd really like to have you all up there. If you move to the next slide. So another new initiative with regard to the university are college academies. We were approached by the superintendent of the Clark County School District if we would be interested in teaching University of Nevada, Reno courses on the campuses of the high schools in Clark County, which are taught by qualified faculty at the high schools there. We started with 2 pilot high schools, had approximately 300 students. Then we were invited into 4 more high schools, which added several hundred more students. That was so successful that we were invited into 4 more. So right now, as we speak, we have 10 high schools in Clark County with approximately 3,000 students that are taking University of Nevada, Reno courses taught by, again, qualified faculty, but under the supervision of faculty at the University of Nevada, Reno. There's absolutely no difference between if you're sitting in a seat in Henderson, North Las Vegas, or Las Vegas in a seat in our university. It's been wildly successful. It will allow some students to start their university experience with 1 year under their belt. Their credits that they earn will not only be transferable to our university, but also all of the other institutions within higher education in the state of Nevada. It is providing access to higher education unlike anything that has ever happened before. We will be adding 4 more high schools in Clark County, so we'll have a total of 16 high schools. We anticipate 5,000 students. You're probably thinking, what about Washoe County? Of course, we are interested in Washoe County, and we have been having a conversation with Superintendent Enfield, and we hope to have 2 pilot high schools. If I had my way, one of those would be in the city of Sparks, and I will continue to work hard for that, but we will have hopefully 2 pilot high schools in Washoe County and add to that thereafter, but it's something that has worked out extremely well. Athletics. I think we're very proud of our student athletes on campus. What you're seeing there is a new locker room for the swim and dive team. When I became president a little over 2 years ago, I toured all of our facilities, and one of the things that became apparent to me is that we had a lot of work to do with regard to Title IX and ensuring that our female student athletes had the same opportunities and same facilities as our male student athletes. Also came to discover that our members, student athletes on the swim and dive team, were using the very same lockers that I was using in 1981. If anyone's ever been in the bowels of at the Lombardi Center, you'll remember those orange metal lockers, and they didn't even have their own private locker room. And so we felt that it was important that they have a dedicated locker room so that they could have privacy in similar facilities. We've also installed new turf on the softball diamond, and by the way, they went 4-1 over the weekend, so we're very excited about that. We resurfaced the track. That was something that it was in very poor condition for our women's cross-country and track teams. You will see, or you saw last fall, that we needed to resurface the field at Mackey Stadium, and that was something that was well beyond its useful life. And there are a lot of other projects that we need to do to get up to date with regard to those facilities, and so we're excited about that. Next slide. Mr. Mayor, as you know, we've been running into each other quite often, but there have been some exciting announcements in our community. What you see here is a rendering of what the Tesla expansion is going to look like upon completion in a multi-billion-dollar investment. But certainly the university is going to be engaged in that, and what we like to call it is the lithium loop. Nevada, we are blessed with some amazing natural resources, which include lithium, which can be mined in northern Nevada, processed in the state of Nevada, used in the manufacturing process in Nevada, and thereafter, once it's beyond its useful life, will be able to be recycled in Nevada. Again, I was able to see you at Redwood Materials, which is a multi-billion-dollar investment there. But we are in a unique position, and the university is certainly positioned to be involved in the research, providing student opportunities to do internships as well as get great paying jobs. Final thing I'll talk about, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, is we will be celebrating, the university will be celebrating its sesquicentennial, and I've had a lot of practice saying that word before I was afraid, but now I can say it. But we will be celebrating 150 years of history. This university was founded in Elko in 1874, moved to the city of Reno in 1885. But again, 150 years of history and a lot of pride and heritage in that, and we want to make the community proud. So it will begin in October 12th of this year and go through October 12th of 2024. I would ask you to mark your calendar for October 14th, 2023. There will be a home football game to celebrate literally the kickoff of the sesquicentennial against the UNLV running Rebels. So we scheduled that on purpose. So we're excited about that. There'll also be a groundbreaking on October 12th, 2023 for the new business building. We would like input, and we would like to do celebratory events in the city of Sparks. So we welcome any ideas that you have so that we can make this a regional celebration. And you will soon see an announcement with regard to a logo that was chosen by several thousand votes. So it was something that we really wanted to make sure that it was open and available to everyone. But in any event, Mr. Mayor, that is a quick presentation on the happenings at the university. We're very proud of our students, faculty, staff, what's happening. We want this to continue to be an institution that all the members of this community can be proud of, that we are community engaged and connected unlike any other way. And I apologize that no university president has been here before, but I will be here as early as often as you would like. But again, I appreciate your time and am happy to answer any questions. Thank you, and go Pack.
Yeah, go Pack. You have that on your license plate, I saw.
Yes, I do.
Questions from the council? Ms. Bybee?
Thank you so much, President Sandoval, for being here. And your team is a proud alumni and student athlete, actually a Title IX athlete. I'm going to give away my age. I arrived in 1972 on campus before scholarships for women. So the difference, I was a gymnast back when there was gymnastics, and women's sports have come a long way, but they still have a long way to come. So I appreciate your commitment to that. And just to the community engagement, it's so important. for us to be engaged because we are a region. So I really see from our residents, from our kids, my husband and I are both alumni, and so it was one of our sons, the other one got away. But just the commitment to the community and our part in the university is just a great partnership that has so much potential to even grow further. And whatever you need from us as well, because our involvement, I think, from the city level is important too. And it's a great partnership and a regional partnership that has long history, and proud to be a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Anyone else? Well, I like your program in the high school. Oh, Mr. Derrick, go ahead.
Yes, President Sandoval, thank you for joining us. Sorry I couldn't be there today. I'm still doing my recovery thing, but this is my first day back, so I'd like to say I did it just for you, but it was for all of it. But thanks for all you do. I do want to still hold you accountable to having a Sparks Day at one of our sporting events. I think we talked about that one. So I think that would be an awesome way to bring our community in if you guys are still thinking about that.
Mr. Mayor, to you and through you to Councilman Dare, and first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers have been with you, and we wish you the quickest and fullest of recoveries. And yes, Councilman Dare has met with me on campus, and we absolutely want to have some type of City of Sparks Day on our campus. So we will continue to work with that and hopefully plan for something this fall. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So I was talking about the high school program. What a great idea, number one, to get Vegas kids up here to this university, which is awesome. But my son did much the same as through the International Baccalaureate and got 1 year out of the way, which allowed him to dual major, which is also another cool part of it. So I think that outreach is huge, and I really wish you a lot of success with that. Sounds like you're very successful already. And thank you again just for coming. As I hear every time, that you're a Sparks kid, and we appreciate that part, and you make that known around the community, and we appreciate that you still hold your roots here with us. But I personally am very impressed, have been impressed with you since I think I met you back in the 90s at one point, and through your governorship, and you get out and you get involved in the community. No one can accuse you of sitting on your hind end in your desk, because you're out and about and doing your thing. So I appreciate that part too, and we'll look forward to that Sparks Day coming up.
Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you, and members of City Council, thank you for your time. And with your permission, I also would like to thank the law enforcement, firefighters, and all first responders for everything they do for our community. I know many of them are in this audience, and I'm grateful and heartily grateful for what they do for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. We have a presentation by Proctor Hug. Adam.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Adam Searcy. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Washoe County School District. Here with a brief presentation, status update, and a conclusion of the development agreement requirements associated with the new Proctor Hug High School at Wild Creek. So just to rewind again, setting the stage for really what today's presentation is about. This is a requirement of the development agreement that Washoe County School District and the City of Sparks entered into back in 2019, early 2019. That was following quite a series of additional community meetings. And we'll talk more about that as we proceed, but in that agreement, it was a bit of a creative solution that was well-crafted by staff to ensure the concerns of the city and the citizens were represented and still allowing for the progress and the needs of the community to be met through this process. So as a part of that development agreement, in addition to a great number of very specific requirements that were agreed upon, it was required that the school district present to the council at least annually with updates. And so that's what these dates represent, is occasions following that early 2019 agreement where I've presented in front of the council with updates. And of course, upon final certificate of occupancy, there was an additional final presentation requirement, which brings us to today. So I know this is maybe old news to a degree, but we're crossing every T and dotting every I on the obligations of this agreement. But just to sum it all up, in no small matter was this not a significant investment in our community, notably amongst our local contractors and consultants who all brought tremendous resources to bear and played significant roles on this project. Very successful from just purely a construction schedule, budget, timeline, quality standpoint. Very pleased from that standpoint. And now today, and since August 2022, has been serving over 2,000 students and staff daily. That's always need to mention this primarily relieved existing overcrowding at the Spanish Springs High School starting this school year. So very pleased about that. Just got a couple of images that I know most, if not all of you, have been through this school, maybe before opening or maybe even since opening for an event or something like this. But this is a two-story hub in between the second and third floors of really the academic heart of the school. So I'm kind of just showing this to illustrate the learning environment and the community that's centered around the classroom area of the school. Zooming in on one of the classrooms, this being a specialized science classroom. Of course, all of our high schools have specialized science classrooms that have the tools, very similar tools to what's in this school. But I think when you provide students with a new environment with modern tools and technology, as well as, the type of just basic daylighting, to say nothing of the view itself, but to have that openness, it creates an environment and sort of an attitude of positivity that inspires improved performance and really greatness amongst the students. In this last photo, and there's hundreds of great spaces and photos to choose from in this school, but this one I chose to not only highlight the beautiful new facility, but also the historic banners that they chose to bring from the old Hug campus to try to make the point of the renewed traditions and the renewed pride, the legacy that Hug High School has, and the new future that this facility will allow generations of students to experience. So kind of getting back to the development agreement, I really wanted to highlight and praise this as being, in my opinion, a very good example of good government. We hear often about the entitlement process and how that can be cumbersome and time consuming and all that stuff, but I also appreciate the job that's needed to ensure that citizens and the city and the long-term viability of these projects are publicly and thoroughly addressed. And that's what I feel like was accomplished on this particular development agreement. There were a number of other processes that are highlighted on the right-hand side. There was a significant amount of public transparency on the entitlement process here, but clear through to today, since the opening, staff, everyone involved has been double and triple checking that every requirement has been met and satisfied, to really follow through on both sides of this deal. So I just wanted to highlight that. And then, technically this is the last requirement of this development agreement. So you won't have to hear from me on this topic again anytime soon, hopefully. But I didn't want it to feel like the end. We worked on this very hard for a very long time, everyone at the dais here and others. But this one's here to stay, right? And the school district and the city of Sparks, in many different facets, interact with the community. And I want to reiterate the school district's commitment to continuous improvement in all facets of this school facility. I chose to include that photo of some graffiti, not to bury it or hide from it, but to acknowledge that there is room for improvement and that there is change afoot, and as everyone can appreciate that those changes do not manifest instantaneously. So we are working in many, many areas to try to bring the full potential of this new school and the students and staff within it to light. The contrasting photo, of course, of Sparks High School, over 70 years old in its current location, a great example of a facility that's had many lives, so to speak, and continuous investment and continuous improvement. And the school district's proud to be a partner with the city of Sparks there as well. Couple closing remarks. You know, I feel like it's noteworthy also to talk about the secondary impacts this school has. We could focus on an individual student and how this facility maybe has provided them with an opportunity or a different environment or a sense of optimism that maybe they hadn't had before that will and has changed their lives. But also, I think going forward, there's a few takeaways that this project has opened my eyes to. A bit of a legacy, the development agreement being one. It's a tool that the city of Sparks has used in other instances, but again, I feel it's a tool that was used wisely and well in this instance. The overcrowding relief, I mentioned predominantly relieving Spanish Spring High School, making room for more quality opportunities for continued growth in North Sparks for decades to come. This project allowed for the vacating of the old Proctor Hug campus, which is now currently under construction, soon to become the Debbie Smith Career and Technical Education Academy. Pleased to be on the agenda immediately prior to our CTE day, coincidentally. So that's something that could not have been made possible without a project like this. You are all aware and partners with the First Tee Initiative, also with Washoe County. Another great example of a community partnership that in some way was made part by this project. And the many students and people's lives that will be touched by that. And then finally, we've talked in the past a little bit about continuing core school investments. I think that there's a story to be told here about how this project, being an infill project and the reconstruction of the old Debbie Smith or Proctor Hug campus, is an example of what may be more to come in the future with regards to continued investments, transformative investments in our existing school facilities. So in conclusion, I just want to thank City Council and the community and city staff for being a good partner. I think in true earnest partnership, not letting any details go uncovered, but working together to bring this project to the community that was needed. Really, for that final bullet, when you work in the school district and when you have children or experience what these public facilities can mean to students' lives, it really is powerful. And to see that, yes, there's growth and always a continuous effort for improvement, but to know that these students are inspired, even just slightly, a little bit more positive day after day after day after day, puts them on a trajectory that I feel will change the fabric of that community for generations to come, and appreciate being a part of it with the city of Sparks. So that's all I have today. I'd be happy to talk about this project or any others if you'd like.
Questions from the council? You got a question?
I'll let him go first.
Mr. Anderson?
Mr. Searcy, good to see you. And no questions for you, but I just want to publicly compliment you and the team at the school district on the work you guys have been doing. We've been working, Councilwoman Bybee and I, on the Funding Protection Committee, and we've been able to see firsthand the effort that goes into everything from transparency, accountability, the entire process. And I just want to say, in my opinion, I believe the school district has gone above and beyond in presenting that to the people of our community, letting everyone be involved in the process, whether it's a new school like this one or ones that are being redone. And I just want to thank you and your team. In my opinion, you guys have done a fantastic job. So thank you for your work.
Ms. Vanderwall?
Mr. Cersei, I want to say thank you for working on this. I'm lucky enough that this new high school sits in my ward, and it is a wonderful thing for the students that live in that area, and I think it's going to be impactful on their lives. And I do appreciate, since the opening of the high school, because we've had, of course, some growing pains and things like that, that the school district has always been available and solution-based on it. So I want to thank you for that.
Mr. Rabbit.
I definitely want to thank you for including the beloved, Sparks High School in our slideshow. And if anyone actually paid attention, there's a little shout out to John Mayer that was in there too, RIP. But I was at Hug High School last week. We actually had a staff versus staff game from Sparks High staff versus Hug High School staff, raising money for some cancer. And it was just amazing to be inside that gym. That the lighting, everything, just amazing. And like you said, the history. It was pretty neat to be in there, bringing that history with the school. My question is there any facility modernization? I know that's kind of our next step, looking at some of these older schools. Do we have any update for that phase 3 meeting or final meeting?
We do. The facility modernization study is what you've referred to, and we've talked about this in the community and separately quite a number of times. We're going to be presenting to the school board 2 weeks from tomorrow with an update. We're going to be continuing with that work this spring and likely into the fall. So look for updates on that shortly. In the meantime, I believe we 2 board meetings ago just awarded a pretty significant track replacement at Sparks High School, things like that, always making major investments in our school properties.
So there was to be a 3rd public meeting?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, the schedule is still being finalized, and that's what we're going to update the board in 2 weeks, and we'll make sure that the entire community is notified as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ms. Bybee.
Adam, thank you. Like Councilman Anderson stated, we both sit on the Capital Funding Protection Committee and Oversight. So we are responsible for really keeping our eyes on that WC bond money and making sure it's spent responsibly, that it actually comes to us before it goes to the Board of Trustees. And we actually have pretty good authority on making decisions, and our board is not just electeds. We've got people that are experts in the industry and in engineering and construction and things that I don't bring to the table. And so that group has been very thoughtful, and we appreciate how much you keep us updated, how much we drill down on things, and you guys always have the answer, or you find the answers for us, and really seeing the investments in older schools and some super innovative outside of the box things that you've done, from, schools, older schools, middle schools, the 2 new middle school, well, not the old middle schools, Swope, that the addition there in the center, and O'Brien to totally take all the athletic fields. For people who don't know, they took the whole school and built on the athletic fields, and then are in the process of demolition of the original building. They've got a brand new school, and so on a large parcel, we're able to build a whole new school. And now just innovative ways of looking at how do we take those older schools that don't have the infrastructure that they need and find some creative solutions for that. Super excited. I know it's slowed down a little bit, but the Debbie Smith CTE Academy is critical for the promise we made to this community for workforce development, for a whole nother piece that is desperately needed. So glad to see work going there, and hopefully we'll be able to accelerate that a little bit. But thank you and your team all for the work that you do. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam. As you may or may not know, I was vehemently opposed to having that high school. I was kind of vocal about it.
I recall.
But I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, this is good government, when you figure out the differences and how to make things work together. So I'm glad that we were able to find some common ground and get a win-win. Not everybody was happy, which is usually a sign of a good agreement, when both sides go away a little disappointed. So I'm happy that that's there. We've talked a little bit about it on our redoing of our infill schools, our inside the McCarran Loop schools, that we're going to look more at traffic and the impacts that the school will have as far as on the neighborhoods. So the partnership has gotten better, better, and better for me with the school district, and I appreciate your work with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll let you off the hook now.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, 7.3, Proclamation, Career and Technical Education Month. Ms. Vanderwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have Matt and Kathy from the CTA department at Washoe County School District. You guys can go ahead and come down.
And I forgot to let Christopher comment.
Okay. Whereas career and technical education offers students the opportunity to gain the academic, technical, and professional skills for real career readiness, and whereas students in career and technical education programs participate in authentic and meaningful experiences that improve the quality of their education and increase their engagement and achievement, and whereas career and technical education provides students with career exploration opportunities earlier in their educational experience, which enables them to make informed decisions about their academic coursework and pursue established programs of student and career pathways. And whereas leaders from business and industry nationwide report increasing challenges related to addressing the skills gap and connecting qualified professionals with available careers in critical fields, including aerospace, agriculture, construction, education, healthcare, information technology, logistics, manufacturing, mining, and natural resources management. And whereas career and technical education prepares students for these and other fulfilling careers by offering integrated programs of study that link secondary and post-secondary education and lead to the attainment of industry-recognized credentials. And whereas the expertise and dedication of career and technical educators inspire students to achieve higher skill levels in their career paths of choice. And whereas career and technical education programs provide employers with access to a qualified and thriving workforce, ensuring that Nevada's economy remains strong and competitive. Now, therefore, I, Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim February 2023 as Career and Technical Education Month.
Go ahead, just give us your name for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Matt McKay, and thank you, Sparks City Council members. Well, Diane basically said it all. So we'd like to just thank you for recognizing career and tech ed and the importance that it offers our students. For those of you that might not know exactly what it is, Career and Tech Ed provides students of all ages with the academic and technical skills, knowledge, and training necessary to succeed in future careers and to become lifelong learners. In total, about 12 million high school and college students are enrolled in CTE across the nation. Career and Tech Ed prepares these learners for the world of work by introducing them to workplace competencies and makes academic content accessible to students by providing it in a hands-on context. Foundational to CTE are rigorous program standards which lead ultimately to higher graduation rates.
My name is Kathy Smith. I am the Career and Technical Education Coordinator for the Washoe County School District. Thank you for having me. Thank you for supporting CTE programs that deliver real results and they give our economy a competitive edge and prepare our learners for high-skilled, high-wage, and in-demand careers in Nevada. So thank you for making, recognizing and doing the proclamation for February as CTE month. And a big thank you to Councilmember Diane Vanderwell for always being supportive of the Washoe County School District and career and technical education. And it is our honor to always invite you into any of our classrooms. Just give us a call and we would love to have you in any of our schools. And then a shout out, we have a new fire science program that will be going into the Academy of Arts, Career and Technology. So thank you for having us, and we hope you enjoy your gifts. There would be chocolate in there, but it doesn't last very long in the school district, so.
Well, there was chocolate.
There was.
They were in my car, yes.
Any questions from the council? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Manager, you have items 7, 4, 5, and 6.
Thank you, Mayor Lawson. For the record, Neil Kreutz, City Manager, here to announce a total of 8 vacancies across 3 of our advisory committees. The first one, item 7.4, is for the Sparks Police Advisory Committee. We have 2 vacancies there, one for a business representative and one at-large representative, each for a partial term that will end September 30th of 2023. Members shall either be residents or business owners in Sparks. If selected, members must participate in a Sparks Police Department Citizens Academy and undergo a background check. Applications for these 2 positions will be accepted until this Friday, February 17th at 5 p.m. Item 7.5 is for the Sparks Citizens Advisory Committee, where we also have 2 vacancies, one in Ward 4 and the other as the Ward 4 alternate member, each serving a term that is coterminous with the appointing city council member's term. Committee members must be residents of the city of Sparks. Applications for these 2 vacancies will be accepted until Friday, March 3rd at 5 p.m. And finally, item 7.6 for the Sparks Senior Citizens Advisory Committee. There are a total of 4 vacancies there, one alternate each for wards 1, 2, 3, and 4, each serving a term coterminous with the appointing city council member's term. Committee members must be Sparks residents who are preferably over the age of 55. Applications for any of these 4 positions will also be accepted through Friday, March 3rd at 5 p.m. If you are interested in serving on any of the committees that I've read about today or any other committee we have at the City of Sparks, please go to our website, www.cityofsparks.us/getinvolved, and that's all one big word. Once you're there, please fill out the volunteer application and submit it. Thank you, Mayor Lawson.
Thank you. Item 7.7, presentation, Ms. Dool, the MySparks app.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and City Council members. I'm Julie Dool, your Community Relations Manager, and with me is City Clerk Lisa Hunderman. And we are very excited to talk to you about the new MySparks app that launched on Monday, February 6th.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Mayor and Council. As Julie stated, I am Lisa Hunderman, your City Clerk for the record. The MySparks app replaces our current issue reporting system called Public Stuff, which is no longer being supported by the vendor. The MySparks app is branded specifically to the city of Sparks and is much easier to navigate than its previous than our previous system. The home screen for MySparks is fully customizable, and it currently is set up to assist users to access our most frequently accessed City of Sparks web pages, such as applying for a job, looking up city council agendas, event schedules, and things like that.
We really do want to encourage residents to download the app. It's very easy to use. And we worked with our vendor, GoGov. They helped us and also worked with department heads and staff on really recognizing what hot topics were and categories to simplify the process for residents to submit requests.
When submitting a request from the app, users can upload up to 5 photos directly from their phone or tablet. They also have the ability to pin their location or the location of the issue, which is much easier for citizens and staff to ensure that they have the right address for any issues that are being reported. As Julie said, we are highly encouraging usage of the app versus a phone-in complaint or a phone-in report or email report, as we have much better capability to track status and progress of issues that have been reported.
And my favorite part of the app is the notification system. As a communicator, it's just so easy to put out notifications. So any resident that downloads the app, they will automatically begin receiving notifications. Then they can customize which notifications they would like to see. So we're sending out media releases, meeting agendas, emergency notifications, road project information, and more. And it comes right across on your phone. So I think it's just a great way to communicate.
The issue reporting aspect of the MySparks app has also been implemented directly into the City of Sparks website, where the previous public stuff was located. And it's very simple to access, cityofsparks.us/report an issue.
We put together this little video just to post on social media to show people how easy the app is to use. So far, we have 109 citizen accounts that have been registered with the email. We have 375 downloads on iPhone and 127 Android downloads.
The MySparks app is currently available for free download in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, or you can also bring out your phone and scan that beautiful QR code there and have it sent right to your phone. And with that, that concludes our presentation, and we are happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Anyone? Anyone? Mr. Abbott?
I don't have questions. I just want to say this is so awesome. You know, as someone that sends in probably a lot of complaints of things to improve with potholes and other things, it's so nice to have 5 photos to be sent in instead of making small ones, or do 5 individual if it's, you know, say potholes in one area. And then the abandoned vehicles, you know, it's nice to have it all in one spot instead of having to go to a website. So I know that helps. Definitely helps me. I'm sure it also helps some the residents in the area. And then also, I think just like looking up, if you want to send a request in for, say, street lights or something, you guys have those little fact spot where I think that's nice. It's good information to get people. This is how we can't help directly, but this is where you can go. So just awesome. Good job on it.
Thanks. Thank you for mentioning that. I wanted to mention that a little bit as well. We do have on the homepage too, or when you start a request, there are ways that if we don't handle those requests, it gives you FAQs on handling those requests, such as a streetlight outage or something like that, or garbage collection, something like that. So it's really easy. You just, when you click on it, it'll tell you exactly the phone number and where to submit those requests. So.
Okay. Anyone else? I think it's going to be awesome, easy to use. Looking forward to it. Oh, Ms. Vanderwell.
Yes, and I just did it. I apologize. I just have a really quick question. I think this is great, and it's a great use of technology and things like that. And video's great on signing up and things like that. Are you planning on doing a presentation to the senior citizens group? Because that sometimes, if they don't, of course, also if they don't have an iPhone or an Android, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, and we have a meeting in about a week or so, and I had planned on talking to them about that, so thank you.
Great, thank you.
Good. Ms. Bybee.
I just did it. I just scanned that and I've got it. I love this. I love how easy it is. I love the fact you can track it, because I've had graffiti reports that I'm actually taking pictures and filing as well as my residents. And so I'm going to be able to go in and not wait for a response. I can track it in real time, or if someone's calling me, I can see maybe a status of something. So the ease of use will make it a lot better for us and for all of you in the city, and tracking and resolving the issues to be as quick as we can, and know that people know that we're doing something about it. So thank you. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Anderson?
No, sir.
Mr. Dare, you have anything on the phone?
Nope, I'm good. I can't really see it. I'm trying to look at it online a little bit. But I think it's always good to make sure we're staying up, communicating. I look forward to seeing how the business interaction works. But thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. All right, let's move on to consent items. Anyone wishing to pull a consent item at this time? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell,
I move to approve the consent items 8.1 through 8.2 as submitted.
Mr. Anderson,
Second the motion?
got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Mr. Dare?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to 9.1, consideration, discussion, of possible approval of a construction contract AC 5910 with Sierra Nevada Construction, Inc. in the amount of $596,007 for the 2023 CDBG Pedestrian Improvement Project, federally funded bid number 22/313-022 PWA 2023-144. Now repeat that back to me. Ms. Sosa.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Amber Sosa, Transportation Manager. As so eloquently introduced, this is a construction contract before you for our 2023 CDBG Pedestrian Improvement Project, with CDBG standing for Community Development Block Grant. This is a federally funded project proposed with Sierra Nevada Construction in the amount of $596,007. This project is included in the city's approved U.S. Department of Housing and Development, HUD's Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan for federal fiscal year 22 and 23. To direct you to the map on your screen, this is the location of the work proposed in the scope of this project. We're just north of Prater Way, just south of Audi, in the vicinity of Sparks High School. We have work planned on 15th Street, 12th Street, and H Street. This project is a concrete infrastructure project. We're looking at replacing deteriorated curb and gutter, sidewalk, driveway approaches, upgrading any ADA ramps that are non-compliant. We are also looking at adding a crosswalk, if I can direct you up towards the top of your screen. We are adding a new crosswalk to connect both sides of the street to facilitate the programs at Larry D. Johnson and their access to the Sparks Library. This was a request from the Parks Department. This project is located entirely within the City of Sparks CDB eligible neighborhoods. And we advertised for this project. We received 8 qualifying bidders, with Sierra Nevada Construction being the low bid at $596,007. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Mr. Abbott?
No.
It's right by your high school.
Come for it, for sure.
Okay, with that, then I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Abbott?
I move to approve a construction contract AC-5910 with Sierra Nevada Construction, Inc. in the amount of $596,007 for the 2023 CDBG Pedestrian Improvements Project, federally funded bid number 22/13-022 PWP-WA-2023-144.
Ms. Vanderwell?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Mr. Dare?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Amber. 9.2, consideration, discussion of possible approval of a grant program contract AC 5908 between the City of Sparks and Eddie House to provide community development block grant funds in the amount not to exceed $72,245 to support the Eddie House's provision of shelter and services to youth experiencing homelessness in Washoe County. Amy.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and members of council. For the record, my name is Amy Jones, Housing Specialist, and I am before you today requesting approval of the Community Development Block Grant Agreement between the City of Sparks and the Eddie House. In the city's HUD-approved 5-year consolidated plan for fiscal years FY20 to 2024, Goal 2 states that the city will provide supplemental support for the operations of nonprofits that provide shelter and supportive services to extremely low-income households, residents with special needs, and persons who are homeless. Prior years, the City of Sparks utilized our CDBG funds to support the operations of the Community Assistance Center, but with the opening of the CARES campus and Washoe County taking over those operations, the city staff identified homeless youth as a priority in our community. In the FY 22-23 annual action plan, staff created an activity to allocate funds to nonprofits that provide services and shelter to homeless youth. This activity meets the national objective of benefiting low to moderate income persons, and the activity is categorized as a public service activity. Under the CDBG regulations, grantees may only allocate up to 15% of their annual award to public service activities. The city did allocate $25,000 to Silver State Fair Housing Council, and the remaining available funds were allocated to supporting youth experiencing homelessness. We did solicit bids. We received 1 bid from the Eddie House. The Eddie House is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week shelter and drop-in center providing resources to homeless youth in Washoe County. The Eddie House offers therapy and support groups, emergency beds, a clothing closet, a food pantry, and 3 hot meals daily, showers, bus passes, medical care, case management, life skills, and a community living program. The Eddie House offers a 6-month community living program with the goal of increasing successful transitions into adulthood. Youth participating in the community living program are provided skills and resources in the following categories, and that's career and finance, housing and transportation, self-care, building relationships, and obtaining essential documentation. Youth have access to kitchen, food storage, individual bed space, and laundry services. And while participating in the program, they will establish a bank account, health insurance, career or educational goals, and life plans. Participants are required to complete daily chores and maintain permanent employment. Youth that graduate from the community living program have the option to participate in the Eddie House's transitional living program, which is a 2.5-year off-site program, or moving out on their own. The Eddie House will utilize the CDBG funds to increase staffing to obtain the following goals. The first goal is increase protective factors to ensure homeless, runaway, foster, and other at-risk youth needing services have basic needs met and are acquiring the skills they need to live sustainably independent. So goal 1 does include the following objectives. Increase the number of youth participating in the community living program by 10%. Increase the number of youth having their diploma or GED by 5%, and increase the number of youth receiving therapy by 5%. Goal number 2, improve the percentage of successful exits from the shelter. In addition to increasing the number of participants in the community living program, the Eddie House has set a goal to increase the number of successful exits from 55 to 60%, as well as increasing the number of successful exits from the emergency shelter from 50 to 55%. Eddie House defines successful exits as outcomes where the youth return to supportive family of origin, joins another supportive housing program that may better fit their needs, or moves on to sustained independence. The contract is effective February 15th, 2023, and expires June 30, 2023, and may be extended by written agreement between the Eddy House and the city. It is contingent upon available funding. The total award is $72,245. The Eddy House is required to submit quarterly reporting on goals and objectives, number of youth served, services provided, demographics, outcomes including housing, employment, education, and job training, as well as financial expenditures billed to the grant, and narrative describing the challenges and successes of the program. The recommended motion is listed on the screen, and that concludes my presentation. I am happy to answer any questions, and the Eddy House is also here to answer questions if needed.
Questions from the council? Well, I, for
Yeah, this
one,
is
think you're
Christopher.
doing a great job. I was over before Christmas to take a tour, and everything that, you know, the rooms are beautiful, the spaces, I saw it when it was brand new and with just an empty box, and now you guys have done a great job over there, and it seems like we're accomplishing what we need to. Mr. Dare, do you have a comment?
Yes, I do, sir. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for all that you've done. I know this has been interesting watching from COVID and how it's worked and what's been going on, and then just kind of adjusting to the new needs as they go. But I think you guys are doing that. One of the things that I'm very interested in, this moves forward approval, just making sure that if you guys could, I'd like to have continued updates and have a chance to come out and continue to see that of what you're doing, and hopefully we can be a continued addition of benefit towards what you're doing. So thank you so much.
I think we've seen the doors are pretty much open for us to come anytime, so. But yes, that's, they're doing a great job. Anyone else? Okay, with that, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, you're gonna mess up my computer, though. Hold on. We're gonna let you do
sorry.
it. No, you're gonna do it. We're gonna have it. All right, motion by Christopher Dare. You wanna read the motion?
Yeah, let me, hold on, get to.
This is technology at its finest.
Okay. I'm not seeing the motion come up under this.
Hey, Chris, I just sent it to you, Christopher.
Thank you. I found it, actually. I move to approve a grant program contract, AC 5908, between the City of Sparks and the Eddy House to provide community development block grant funds in an amount not to exceed $72,245 to support Eddy House's provision of shelter and services to youth experiencing homelessness in Washoe County.
Mr. Anderson.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Mr. Dare?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, 9.3, consideration discussion of possible approval of a purchase of an installation of the Purvis Station alerting system in the amount not to exceed $560,000. Chief.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. My name is Kevin Jacobus, Division Chief in your
Kevin,
fire
you want to
department.
use that other microphone? We kind
Sure.
of put that one over for Councilman Dare. Now I'll be able to
right.
hear you. Thank you.
Start over.
No, you're good.
Okay, again, my name is Kevin Jacobus, Division Chief in your fire department. And the request I have for you today, the agenda item, is an approval for an expenditure of up to $560,000 to purchase the Purvis Station Alerting System. That $560,000 covers the software, the hardware, and the installation of the system. And just a real quick background for you. What is a station alerting system? That's what I have up on the screen for you. The old school days where we'd have a dot matrix printer and we'd get a little piece of paper and we'd rip it off and read what we're doing and where we're gonna go. Technology now, I get things sent to my watch, on my wrist. We have monitors that will go up into stations that will display a digital map. It will route for us. It will give us all the CAD information right in all of our stations, and we'll have monitors stationed throughout our headquarters stations, multi-story. We'll have things stationed around so our personnel can get a quick response to where they're gonna go. We have lighting and timers, and what that does is if you picture yourself at 1 o'clock in the morning in the bed as a firefighter, when the tones go off, it's not a sudden hit to your heart where all of a sudden the tones ramp up and they just blow you out of your bed. It ramps up a soft tone to gradually wake you up. The lighting systems will gradually illuminate instead of somebody just flipping a switch on. That helps the health of our firefighters with reducing that stress response. So this system's actually a collaborative system. It's going through the city of Reno right now and Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District. They're also doing the same installation, and the phase is next coming for us. You may recall Battalion Chief Scott Means was here in November 28th, to request approval for reimbursement. So the net cost is up to $560,000, but that's fully reimbursed from the Washoe County 911 surcharge tax. With that, staff does recommend approval, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have on the system.
All right, questions from the council? Outstanding presentation, no questions.
No questions?
Okay, I'm looking for a motion then. Mr. Anderson.
I move to approve the purchase of equipment and installation of the Purvis Station Alerting System in the amount not to exceed $560,000.
Mr. Abbott.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Mr. Dare.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
9.4, consideration, discussion, and possible approval or rejection of an offer to settle threatened litigation in the amount of $441,218.83 related to claims asserted by Mark Lawson. Brendan.
Thank you, Mayor Lawson, members of council. Brandon Sendall, Assistant City Attorney for the record. As you know, the City Attorney's Office received a letter dated January 19th of this year asserting several claims on behalf of Mark Lawson and also offering to settle the threatened litigation for $441,218.83. This number exceeds the city manager's approval threshold under Muni Code, so it is being brought here for your decision.
Okay.
And I can answer any questions.
Any questions from the council? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Anderson.
I move to reject the settlement offer received from Hutchinson and Stephen attorneys on behalf of Mark Lawson.
Ms. Bybee.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Mr. Dare.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Brandon. All right, public comment. Anyone in the public wishing to comment at this time? I have no comment cards. Okay, we'll bring it back to the council, and we'll go to announcements from the mayor, city council, and city manager. Mr. Manager, you have anything?
Nothing today, sir.
City council, you have anything? Mr. Dare?
Of course I do. Hello.
You know we've missed you, just for this one reason.
Thank you. I've missed being there, and I definitely, from here on, will be a part. My goal is to definitely be back in person by March, is my goal, but everything's going well, and love serving our city, and we will fully be back engaged as soon as possible. But this month I'll be back in a lot of my main meetings via Zoom or phone. Thank you all for your support, and I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay. Well, that brings us to number 13, adjournment. City council's adjourned. Let's now start up with redevelopment.
Give me just a few minutes and we'll go to our redevelopment agency meeting. Are we good? Almost. Very close. Okay.
So there was chocolate in there.
Yeah, they've got dum-dums in there.
That's perfect for me.
Is that for CTV? I mean, that's kind of, is that
I knew exactly what it, give me a dum-dum.
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Sparks Redevelopment Agency of Monday, February 13th, 2023, with a roll call.
Chairperson Bybee.
Here.
Agency members Lawson.
Here.
Abbott.
Here.
Vanderwell.
Here.
Anderson.
Here?
Dare.
Here.
Chief Legal Officer Duncan. Here. Chief Administrative Officer Croots.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to item 3, public comment. Do we have any public comment?
We do not, Madam Chair.
Okay, we'll close public comment. Moving on to item 4.1, looking for approval of the agenda. Agency Member Vanderwell,
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Agency Member Abbott,
Second, I think. Our computer looks otherwise.
okay. I have a,
Paul Anderson, that's a
I'm fine with it.
Are you good? Okay, I do have a motion. I have two motions in a second. All those in favor, please, or all those please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Okay,
We need Christopher's vote.
I'm
Aye.
sorry, Christopher.
Sorry.
Did I hear an
Yes,
aye?
ma'am. I pr-
Okay. Sorry about that. I had 6 votes on here, so I guess they heard you and I didn't. Thank you, Mr. Dare. Okay, we're on to item 5. 5.1, consideration, discussion, possible approval of the minutes of the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting for January 23rd, 2023. Do I have any additions, corrections, or a motion to approve? Agency Member Vanderwell?
I move to approve the minutes of the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting for July 23rd, 2023.
For which month? You said July.
I'm sorry, January 23rd, 2023. Maybe I'd like it to be July.
Wishful thinking. Okay, for January 23rd. Mr. Anderson, Agency Member Anderson.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, please vote.
I do have one
Mr. Dare?
discussion. I know I had a brain tumor, so I thought I was hearing wrong. So thank you for correcting that.
Okay, and your vote on this?
I approve.
Okay, so motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, on to item 6.1. Consideration and possible acceptance of the report of the claims and bills approved for payment and appropriation transfers for the period of January 10th, 2023 through January 31st, 2023. Looking for a motion? Agency Member Abbott?
I move to accept the report of claims and bills and the appropriation transfers for the period January 10th, 2023 through January 31st, 2023.
Thank you. Agency Member Vanderwell?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, please vote. Mr. Dare?
Aye.
And I have a
Approved.
aye by Agency Member Dare. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving on to item 7.1. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of a construction contract ACSRA 333 in the amount of $329,823 with Group West Construction, Inc. for the Victorian Amphitheater Phase 2 project, bid number 22-23-025, PWP WA-2023-159. Mr. Kaysen.
Very good. Thank you. Brian Kaysen, Capital Projects Manager. I'm here today to, of course, present the Tony Armstrong Amphitheater Phase 2 project. The project you can see on the map is located just to the east of 10th Street, to the west of Pyramid Way and on the south side of Victorian Avenue, within the red oval. Previously, we had constructed phase 2 a few years back, or phase 1, I'm sorry, which was enclosing the existing center of the roof structure along with the ceiling structure. And then this is phase 2 to enclose the northwest corner of the building to minimize vandalism and ensure that we can open this thing up and it's nice and clean and ready to go for events, and hopefully increase the number of events we can use it for. We are going to be installing 3 roll-up doors, security screening, painting the soffits, cleaning up the outside, sandblasting the outside, and adding waterproofing to the masonry. We're also going to be upgrading some of the LED lighting. We did receive 2 bids. The lowest responsive bid, of course, was Group West Construction in the amount of $329,823. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Do I have any questions? Okay, if not, I am looking for a motion. Agency Member Abbott?
Move to approve a construction contract AC-SRA-333 in the amount of $329,823 with Group West Construction, Inc. for the Victorian Amphitheater Phase 2 project. Bid number 22-23-025 PWP WA 2023-159.
Okay, Agency Member Anderson?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please, any discussion? Not, please vote. Agency Member Dare? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving on. And that's still you, right, Mr. Kaysen?
Still me.
Okay. Item 7.2, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of a construction contract, ACSRA 332, in the amount of $423,659.68 with Anchor Concrete for the Victorian Square Infrastructure Improvements, Section 2C, project bid number 22-23-015 PWP WA-2023-104.
Again, this is for the improvements for Section 2C. It's actually a continuation of multiple sections that we've completed along Victorian Avenue to do upgrades to the sidewalk and tree planters and various items. This project is very similar. We're going to be replacing a lot of the sidewalk within the area you can see that's just to the west of 10th Street and to the east of 10th Street and to the west of Pyramid Way, and just to the south of Victorian Avenue along the train depot area. We're going to be also removing some tree planters and putting new tree planters in, new trees. We'll be working on the existing irrigation system and electrical and upgrading those components. And we did receive 5 bids, with the lowest bid being Anchor Concrete in the amount of $423,659.68. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
So, Mr. Kaysen, are both these projects going to be going on simultaneously or one after another?
Yes, there will be some overlaps, so we will be coordinating the construction of not only the amphitheater, this Victorian Section 2C project, along with the forecourt project to the northwest. And so we'll make sure we overlap construction coordination meetings and ensure that we maintain basically coordination between all the contractors.
Okay, and the time frame on that?
Basically, it varies depending on each of the projects. The Victorian 2C will be, once we get contracts and get scheduling going with the contractor, we'll get it done as soon as possible. Of course, all these projects we want to get done before the beginning of the event season. The amphitheater project, there may be some lead time issues with the roll-up doors, but we'll get going as quickly as we possibly can, and still the intentions are to get that completed prior to the event season.
So spring, sometime in the spring?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Abbott?
I just want to say thank you for looking at the wig wags down there for the
Yeah,
museum.
we'll be looking at that also.
So that's it, thanks.
Yeah.
Didn't we approve last month the forecourt?
No, that was back in early December.
That's going on
And
at the
that's-
same time?
Yeah, it's under construction right now.
Yeah, so please bear with us. If you're downtown, we've got a pretty big investment going on there, trying to get this thing done before event season shows up.
But it's going to be worth it.
Oh, in the end.
I'm really excited, especially with the amphitheater, just those upgrades along that whole corridor. Okay, no other comments. I'm looking for a motion. Agency Member Abbott.
Move to approve a construction contract in the amount of $423,659.68 with Anchor Concrete for the Victorian Square Infrastructure Improvements, Section 2C Project Bid Number 22-23-015, PWPWA 2023-104.
Agency Member Lawson.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other comments? If not, please vote. Agency Member Dare.
Aye.
With that, I have a unanimous vote. Thank you, Mr. Kaysen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on. We are at 8.1. Comments from the public. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll close comments from the public. Announcements from the agency and Chief Administrative Officer. Mr. Kreutz?
Nothing today. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, then I will move to our favorite motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.